I love the potential to being creative on the technical side. You know, I've always, for the most part, been associated with cutting, or sometimes people would say bleeding edge type products. As an example, back in the 80s, I was a very early adapter of the Telos products that existed then. And, you know, that was just beyond the imagination of some people that were, you know, more traditional in their approach to things. And, you know, there's always something new coming along, and, you know, maybe there's other ways to use it than was originally intended, which can always be fun. And I think that's what I enjoy the most. My father was an avid listener of radio, and my uncle was an aficionado of radio transmitter sites. He'd always drive by and point them out and so forth. He never really did anything with them or whatever, but it sort of gave me an interest, and started from there. I think good radio has a degree of creativity of some type. It could be a very good talk show host. It could be somebody who was a very good music presenter, did a creative mix. I think a lot of radio was better when it had a little less of the structure that it has right now, and a little bit more of the creativity. But I mean, it can go in many directions, because what's great, as far as I'm concerned, could be horrible as far as what you're concerned. But there's different things that will appeal to different people, and it's the creativity that takes it in all those different directions, or hopefully it would. Well, you know, there are so many different versions of the good old days. I mean, which one do you want to pick? You know, you have, I'm sure the 20s were very exciting because people were inventing this stuff. I mean, it was difficult, I imagine, to just stay on the air. So, you know, that took a certain amount of energy and devotion right there, things we take for granted. Other people will call the 30s the golden age of radio, when they had all of the plays and some of the great performers and so forth on the air. I think radio is changing now in a very different way, in that at least the people who plan to stay in the business and have a plan to stay in the business are broadening out onto a number of media platforms. On the upper end of the scale, where you've got combinations of radio and television, they're cross-branding, sharing platforms, trying to make a composite brand that you know, they could be attractive to their audience. So it's a completely different process. I think it depends. I mean, the one big problem with social media, with streaming, with anything related to the internet, that we have to consider that there are people who don't really have internet, or an adequate enough internet to have those experiences. We're all walking around with our smartphones. I mean, I was doing around 30 megs up and down in the convention center yesterday. Now that it's crowded, it's degraded to 10, which is all I could get on a cable modem a couple of years ago at my house. So I mean, we take that for granted. But I mean, I could jump in a car right now, and without driving too far out of Las Vegas, I can show you some places where they still haven't gotten POTS telephone service yet. I can show you places where people barely have electricity. So, we sort of take what's in our world for granted, and it's not level. So it's a good thing to leverage and use to a point, but you still have to consider that it's not universal, and it only can do so much.